Hello folks, I am Andrew Carter with the News and Observer, joined by my colleague Laura Keeley, coming at you here at the Smith Center after UNC's 74-66 victory against number 5 Duke. And I was wearing at one point today a sweater, but I peeled that off. It got really hot here throughout the game. Obviously a warm day, got warm in the Smith Center, was a really crazy environment here. And Laura, my first question for you is, what kind of effect do you think this really warm, humid court had on Duke? It looked like they kind of wore down toward the end.
Yeah, I definitely think they wilted down the stretch. Quinn Cook kind of wiped his brow afterwards when we asked him about if it was hot, and he said it was scorching, and it was. I don't think I've ever been so warm in an arena. Can't imagine what it was like to play in this. But, yeah, they scored 15 points in the last 15 minutes and 7 seconds of the game. Typically you measure points by possession. This, you can measure points per minute. It just wasn't, you can't win if you can't score, and Duke was missing all kind of shots, and ultimately they couldn't hold on.
One guy who did not wilt today amid the heat or the pressure was Leslie McDonald, the UNC fifth-year senior.
Who'd have thought?
It's been a rough year for Leslie, really kind of a rough 5 years for him, honestly. He had the torn ACL his junior year that he missed that season. He had, obviously, the impermissible benefits issues before this season. Really, before tonight, I think most people would have remembered Fats Thomas and rental cars and the P.J. Harrison nonsense. They would have associated that with Leslie a lot more than anything he did on the court, and he kind of erased that tonight. How much was it a surprise, you think, for Duke to see a guy like him really kind of emerge from nowhere?
Well, when Duke played well in the first half, they were limiting Page's shots. I think he only shot twice, had 0 points, and they were collapsing in the post and making Bryce Johnson and Kennedy Meeks pretty irrelevant. So, I think that's what Duke wanted to do. I think they were content to let Leslie McDonald kind of get his shots, and he made way more of them than he normally does. Obviously,
for both teams, this has been a hectic stretch ever since the postponement last week with the snow. It gets a little bit easier for UNC. You could argue they play Wake Forest here at the Smith Center on Saturday.
That's a safe argument.
But for Duke, which has Syracuse on Saturday, how do they respond and regroup heading into that game?
They're going to have to find some energy somewhere. Mike Krzyzewski was really disappointed after the game. He thought his team was lifeless. So, I don't really know what the answers are. I don't know, where they find it, but they're going to need it because Syracuse is going to be ready.
It's coming.
It's coming.
The first of those games, obviously, was a classic.
Yeah.
So we'll see if that happens again. And this one was a lot of fun as well, but I think it's our time. I think, what time is it now? Almost 1 o'clock in the morning.
It's almost 1 o'clock. I'm done.
So we're going to get out of here. For Laura Keeley, this is Andrew Carter for the News and Observer. Thanks for watching.